Hello ELT5, welcome to chapter 1 of this course LNG7401, which is English for ELT Professional Development. Okay, let me go on overview of the chapter 1. This is lecture of lecture 1. Please bring up your sheet in chapter 1 and then just listen after to my lecture. I will walk you through in each section of this worksheet, which is about like how many pages. Well, we have about like 15 pages, 17 pages, and then I will highlight some keywords. So when you read over again, you will be able to understand it. So in this chapter, so it is about how you can write a papers in English, especially the research paper. Actually, is we talk about the method of writing the papers, and then will tell you about a good method you can use when you're writing papers, and then the thing that you need to keep in mind of when writing paper, you need to think about the step to follow, okay, and think two things about before you begin writing process. All right, and there are something that you have to think about, to concern about, which is these 5 questions right here that you will see, have to think about. The first one is that what journal you are going to publish in, okay? What journal, okay? What is the standard phrases? It means the sentence you can use when you gonna write English words, English paper, and then the way of the typical paper that is have been structured in your field, especially in English language teaching, and the thing about what make your research unique. It means uniqueness. What make your research outstanding, different from the other research, okay? And then you have to think about the referee expectations. What's the reader want to know about your research? All right. Okay, let me go on to some key things that have been mentioned here. So right here is talking about what? Talking about the importance of writings. So it's saying that from the note taking to publishing to teaching, language is the tool that gives sense to scientific activity. Whatever scientists do or observe, everything they come to know or hypothesis, language is the media, is mediated through language. So language is important to all kinds of things. And then the language, you need to be accurate and understandable paper. This is the importance of writing the research. And then writing help you to learn. Writing is not simply a task to be done. Once research or other preparation is complete, it can be writing is an integral part of the work progress. It means writing is like everything that combine together of your work process. So you got to write. Okay. So next one, there are different things that you need to think about when you're writing your papers. The first one, think about why you want to publish your research, okay? And the important thing is that this is what's the main point. What makes you believe you can make a contribution to a gap in the current knowledge base of your field? Research gap, okay? The second one, give yourself enough time to plan, okay? So just talk about time, okay? Time to plan your manuscript, okay? Normally, how long? It spent 3 years to writing a research. 3 years doing your research, 1 or 3 days. or even 3 weeks to write your manuscript. But keep in mind that you need to allow at least twice of the time when you think you will take. And number 3, journal. When you're thinking about writing your research, you got to think about the journal. It's the place where you're going to write the paper for, okay? And you can ask who? Ask your supervisor, okay, for a specific journal, or consult your colleague, okay? All right, to ask your colleagues. And then, well, the things that you need to think about, like, is to publish in journal that have a high impact factors. When you write factors, you think about the journal that have the high impact. What does it mean? The high impact factor is more widely regional, is the more like to other researcher will cite your paper. See, this is the importance of how you need to think about a high impact journal. And then the peer review journal, it means the journal has the readers, the specialized readers who read the manuscripts. You can look on the internet by look at Google Scholar to check what the impact factors of each journal is. How much is the impact factors, all right? And well, if you find it difficult to get published, you can think about to write a short article or write a letters to the journal. That could be possible, okay? And then in page 6, and then you should consult around like 3 to 4 journal that could be possible, that you can choose to submit your work. And then you look, you study their style, and you think about the audience, okay? Think about the expect from the editor and the readers want from the articles, okay? And then, all right, and the topic, okay, and the topic related to the journal where you want to publish. See, if you write the paper in English language teaching and you decided to send to like Journal of Medical Science, would it be possible? You have to think about the angle of your research, okay, to focus on. That is the point right here. All right. Next one, number 4. You need to download the instruction for order from the journal. Okay. What does it mean right here? You have to study the requirement and the style guide of each journal. All right. Different journal, they have different style guide. Okay. You need to study their requirement in the style guides. Okay, you can look at the second that call instruction for orders, note for orders, or the guidelines, or other resources. Okay, and some guideline, it should include what? It's to tell you about what? Type of title, which is acceptable, structure of paper. Okay. For example, they can begin with review of literature, and the results, it's included in the result is where going to be. It's in the discussion or in the separate section, or how the conclusion section look like. So this is the structure of paper, all right. And the layout of how the paper should be like. The abstract should be presented, or one long paragraph, or how it's going to be like the layout, the structures of sections. Okay. Some journal it has prescribed exactly how it's going to be. And then the use of passive rather than personal. Okay. Rather than personal. personal we and I is unacceptable. Okay, citation is important thing you need to be aware of. There could be either APA or MLA style guide or whatever you like, but mostly most journal they use the APA style. Okay, APA style. And then the next part is about the bibliography or the reference, the use of keywords, spelling, American English spelling. This is the way they use English. All right, let's move on. Okay, and next one, where you can look at the journal website. Okay, and then how about if you choose to submit to the low impact journal? You also look at their instruction too. They also need to look at the other resources too, no matter what journal it is. Okay, and the same thing, journal resource for other speech of the website. Okay, or this is highly recommend. If you don't know how it look like, you go to this website, bmj.com, British Medical Journal. It will give you a quite sample of the instructions for the authors. Okay, all right. So you study from some of the medical papers would help you. Okay, to know the guides. Okay, the guideline. All right. Let's move on to 1.5. Okay, let's move on to 1.5, and this part you need to read and analyze your paper from your literature review and make note. Okay, and when you decide your journal have decided your journal already, and when you want to cite paper, you need to cite paper. Okay, you need to cite papers. Okay, to see how to use other papers, and then you quote in your section of the review of the literature. This is the way of how we can cite the paper. Okay, let's see how long it's going to be. Okay, and headings, what you need to think about when you read for literature review. You need to think about the problems that the research addressed. What problems that research had cited to, the background informations, okay, the elements that validate the level of innovation of research, okay, how innovation of that research, okay, and then you need to look at the conceptual model, methodology, or procedure, okay, procedure of that research, and also the materials, the equipments or the software being used, what it is, okay, the method that used and operational steps that used in that research, in that paper, actually, the result, what result is it, and how analysis and interpretation of how the result can be used, the strength and weakness of the research, and the insight of the research that have been show up, and the implication for future research. So when you do literature review, you have to think about this following. Okay, all right. So I will go on, and then it's quite long. Okay, it's quite long lecture because I'm trying to make this online course equivalent to the in-class, which is 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the afternoon. So it should be like, you should spend like 6 hours studying this. Okay, and all right, so I will move on to page 8. Okay, then you can fill in your table. Okay, when you read and then you fill in your tables, the brief notes of the papers that you have read. Okay, and then you make the analysis, and then you make analysis. Why you make analysis? It helps you what? It helps you write your own literature review. Okay? It can help you identify the difference in the other researchers' approach and result compared to your research. It and also is no doubt the strength and weakness, okay, in the work of the other people. So this is the analysis that you need to keep in mind. All right, so and then let me move on to 1.6, okay, and then we need to look at what, and this is the section is talking about the editors. Editor is the person who make a decision to accept or reject your paper. Okay, what you need to think about when you write the paper, you need to think about what? So think about and see types of paper, that paper, the subject of the paper, the aim of paper, research result, length of paper, the style. Okay, and let's see. I'm sorry. The type of papers. That paper is the original research or the review or the portion paper. Okay, what kind of type of papers that your paper is going to be like? The subject that you use has been hot subjects, the original or the innovative or controversial or classic top subjects. Or subjects mean the topic, so actually. The aims. Why you write your papers to clarify your purpose. Clarity is the purpose, okay? You need to think about the objective, okay? And then the research. How you write your research is well conducted. The how to conduct your paper, to conduct your research. The methodology is clear. Ethical, reproducible or not, bias or not, limitation admitted. Some research have to admit the limitation. And then results. You have to check whether the result is in line with research objective or not. You have to think about the result. Is the new or confirmation of other result already published in the same journal? So it like confirm the other people or not? Or your results not too broad or not too meaningless. Make sure not too broad or not too meaningless. Okay, and the length, short or long. The style, personal, impersonal, or passive form. I would recommend using this impersonal form. Okay, all right. So this is the thing you need to keep in mind. That all right. Let me move on to 1.7. Okay, 1.7 is what? This part is talking about one paper. You choose one paper as the model. It means that when you decided to write a paper, you need to pick up one of papers to like look at it and then to be your role models. What model that you look at it? What you look at how your model, your paper is structured. You look at how does the author begin? The beginning of the paper. How the paper begins. Second part. What point does the model, your model paper make in each section? Okay, and the third one, how does the paragraph have been linked together? How is it linked? Okay, it's looking at the coherence between the different paragraphs and how the result and the discussion being connected. Okay, and how the conclusion being presented. See, you look at the model paper, okay, in this checkpoint, okay, and then we move on to 1.8, the order in which to write various sections. You think about the order. 1, 2, 3, 4. What should come number 1? What should come number 2? What should come number 3? All right. Actually, This book is said there is no standard order. Uh-oh. But how? What? But many ways. Many others, they usually start with methods. Okay, the easy section to start with. And sometimes some papers start with abstracts. And then you have to think about the protocol, the scientific study protocol that you wrote when you outline the aim of your research, okay? And then you just look in detail in this part, right? And then, okay, let's move on to the next page. Actually, when you listen to my lecture, you have to read over again, okay? In your own time, okay? Outside the classroom, okay? And the hardest part is discussion. Discussion is the part that is the most difficult part to write. Okay. Discussion. Because you have to interpret your result and compare them with others' results. When you discuss your result compared to your paper that you have been read before. Okay. So this is called a discussion, all right? Okay, and then this is the kind of like the magic formula. Okay, the typical orders. Okay, the general order usually start with what? Abstract, normally, method, result, discussion, introduction, conclusion, and once again abstract. When you write, and then after you write, you just like put together all the things again and again and again. Okay, you have to rewrite, recheck again. Okay, I will delete these numbers. Okay, in order to have you like let you have the independence, okay, the freedom of the design. Okay, all right. It's good idea to write results and discussion before introduction. Why? Because you already understand the significance of what you have done. Okay, you will see the significance after you've done. Okay, after you have done result and discussion. Okay. Introduction you can write in the last. Okay, you write introduction the last because you know the result and discussion first. Okay, and then it's simply like you write it backward. Okay. 1.9, you create separate file for your section. So when you write your draft, you separate different file. Okay. And then in each file, you list the key concept you want to cover. Okay. And then you need to use it for reference. Different or the bibliography is the same thing. Okay. Because this contains the list of papers, books, or documents that you have cited before. So you make different file, and then you cite out the here. When you make notes, okay, you come back to ask yourself, okay, in 1.7. Okay, this is when you analyze paper, and also when you analyze papers, you also look at this element too. Okay, and then you make note when you do the literature review in literature part. Okay, and all right, so I will take a short break from here. Okay, from 1.9, and then I will come back and continue in 1.10, 11, 12, 13, 14 until all the way to 1.19. Okay, all right, let's just take a break and stay tuned.